11:38, welcome back. Well, a business festival curated for women, by women, is on the cards. Renowned businesswomen and men as well will be sharing their stories of inspiration, struggles, hope, and empowerment of female entrepreneurs attending the second edition of the In Good Company experience. Now, to tell us more is the In Good Company's founder and CEO, Jabulile Gwala, who joins me now in studio. Jabulile, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us about this In Good Company Business Festival. What's it all about?
Okay, so In Good Company was started around 2014. And we've started with just small talks, and last year we had a big experience where we had talks and inspiration, but this year we said we would like to just kind of formalize it a little bit more. We want to focus a whole lot more on the business side of it and making sure that, you know, when our patrons come through, they get a chance to connect with each other and also connect with our speakers and actually walk out with tangible items that they can use to improve their business or their careers.
I was just reading, when you got into this game, you said you want to be a catalyst for the change that you want to see. What are some of the pressing issues that are facing women in business currently?
Look, the policies that currently exist, so in both business and corporate, they were not designed for us, and we're feeling it more and more.
Give us some examples. Which policies are we
so for me, as an example, if you look at women who are starting out work and you're looking for a job, you find a job, and 2 months in, you find out you're pregnant, as an example. It's a natural part of life. That's what we do. We give, you know, or bring life into the world. But actually the policies are designed in such a way that actually you must first have worked a year, or you must first have worked a certain number of years for you to be able to gain benefits in order for you to be away and be with your child for the 4 months. So firstly, I find that to be very, very unfair. And I feel that if we all get into a room and we, you know, have excos that are balanced, you know, in a sense that there is 50% men and 50% women, we can avoid, you know, bringing in policies like that. Because as I walk in already, if I am looking to start a family, now that I have this job, I kind of have to take a step back. Or if I am pregnant, I can't now tell you the truth at the beginning to say this is what I'm going through. So for me, that's also like one of those examples that I'm saying that we actually just need to focus on, and hence even the inclusion of men in the dialogue, so that it's not just one-sided.
I mean, in order to be effective, you need to come up with concrete plans in order to change some of the policies that you have issue with. Talk to us about how deep and how meaningful the conversations are going to be at this conference, and you know, how are you going to take this forward in terms of breaking some of those you know, those policies that hinder women development?
So, you know, the starting point is to have the dialogue, and the second part is including men. And I mean, I will not lie and say the In Good Company Business Festival is going to change all of those things, because it's a systemic thing that has been around for years. I do a lot of research around women empowerment and the progress that we are making at a global level. We all know that it's actually really, really slow. So I'm not going to sit here and say, on the day, we're going to make groundbreaking changes. But for me, the purpose of the day is to bring in the policymakers, the people that actually sit in those sessions and make those calls, and actually make them aware and make them a bit more informed about the decisions that they're making and how they are impacting our lives. And I'll use an example. I mean, last year we had the Chief Marketing Officer for Google Africa who came in, and, you know, when he started with IGC, he had heard a lot about, you know, the struggles that women face, and we always talk about it, but to experience it like that, and to also be able to, you know, give his opinion as a man, when he went back, and, you know, the stuff that he's now able to drive within his organization around the same topic, for me is quite an achievement. So the point is to get more and more men involved, and get more and more men to not feel like Women's Month is for them to take a back seat while we, you know, drive the dialogue, but make them feel like gender diversity and inclusivity is actually a problem for both of us, and we should all be.
It's definitely a collaborative effort, isn't it?
It has
You
to be
need
a
both
collaborative.
sides.
We have to.
Tell me some of the speakers, some of the role players that will be here at this conference, this festival?
Okay, so we have a full day that is planned for our patrons. So the event itself is powered by Stain City, and the biggest part that we're actually bringing this year is called a 7% Connect tool. And 7% Connect tool allows us to tap into the industry trailblazers, which will be speaking at the event. So we have people like Tammy Manton, we have Ipeleng Kari, we have speakers like Nelson Magamo, who will be part of the panel discussions. So we're looking forward to the dialogue. We have women in tech, we have women in wellness, because for the first time we're also saying that, you know, part of running a business or, you know, climbing the corporate ladder, you have to also look at the wellness part and not just only the hard numbers. So we've got, you know, the editor of Women's Health, Dan Weekly, who's going to be part of the panel discussions. So it's going to be a fun-filled day with a mixture of hardcore business discussions, but also a little bit on the wellness part, to say let's not, you know, burn out while we're chasing our dreams.
And something that actually caught my eye when I was reading about this business festival was something called business speed dating.
Yes.
What is that all about?
So the business speed dating is the 7% Connect. So for the first time, when you come to our event, you can actually, you know, set up an appointment with the guests. So you can set up an appointment with either a Nelson Makamo or an appointment with an Ipeleng Mukari if you're in construction. You have 15 minutes with them, and literally you can ask all the questions that you want. You can also connect with like-minded guests. So if you are in marketing and there are other people in marketing, if you're in tech and there are other people in tech, we will be match making you. So there's a whole system that's going to be happening in the background, and we'll be sending you all these meetings, and that's the speed dating part, where you just get to meet people who are in a similar industry as you. Because last year we found that we got together, there was about 500 women in the room, but we all didn't know each other, we didn't know what we did, so we couldn't leverage off from that event and those connections. So this year, that's the speed dating part of it.
Right. Tell us about your story, Jabulile. I mean, you look relatively young. I was always told never to ask a woman's age, so I will not ask you your age. But getting into such fields and getting and being a CEO and founder of this company which hosts this festival, what sort of hurdles did you have to jump over?
Look, I've always been in corporate, so I've always experienced the stress and strain that comes out of being female in corporate. So I've always, you know, started these forums while I was still in corporate and creating support structures, and mainly because of the fact that as women we try so hard to just fake it till we make it, but by doing that we just put pressure on each other. And I found that, you know, if we just have dialogue and honest conversations to just say, okay, I'm also struggling here, I need help here, we just give the next woman permission to also just ask and not you know, burn out or, you know, go through anxiety and panic attacks at the office. But then when I went out to then start my own business, so I have an activewear line, but sure, I then experienced exactly how hard it is to be female and in business. And it's a number of things, you know, you're not part of the boys club, you're not at the golf course making deals, you know, opportunities come up and you apply for them and you ask yourself why you didn't get it. And then you actually realize that some conversations happen outside of this portal where you all just, you know, adding your information and, you know, thinking that you have a fair chance. So when chatting to some of the males that are in these positions and asking them, like, why do you make some of the decisions that you make, and how did you come up with that, you know, business versus the other one? How did you even choose them? And a lot of them, it's, I mean, there's that level of trust and comfort because I know you, because I've chatted and I see where you're going. But those conversations I didn't get the same platform to share that I can also make you comfortable in the fact that I can also deliver the service because I wasn't at the golf club. So I looked at it and I said, as women, we can actually support each other better. You know, we can get together and we can share what we are all doing. We can educate each other, we can learn from each other, we can encourage each other, and we can just give each other the break that we need, because there is power in numbers.
Because support is very key. We had two young ladies yesterday here who started off this cosmetic line, and they were talking about how difficult it was to get funding initially. And so I guess there's this lack of support, especially for young female entrepreneurs.
I mean, funding is like the biggest thing, and it's a consistent concern or issue issue that comes out for every woman, and that's why there's always like a plea from us, from our side, or even platforms like myself, for banks to get involved, for funding, organizations to get involved. Even if you're not coming to give the money, just come to give the knowledge, because we don't know where to go. We listen to the news and we keep getting told that there's these funding that's coming. We need more women to be bold and start businesses, but actually when you do, you are like left high and dry and you don't actually know what to do. So I think for me, the starting point is just for the funding organizations that are there, just make yourself a little bit more accessible. We keep searching, you go to the place and you get sent from pillar to post, and you just never get around to moving forward. And then you end up just taking loans because you believe in your idea, and then you just say, let me just start this thing and grow it, and then eventually, someone just gives you a break.
So it's not about passion anymore, isn't it? Well, passion is important, but it's a part of the bigger picture here as well.
Making the P&L work.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I understand it was scheduled, this festival was scheduled for this month, but it's moved to next month. Give us some times, dates.
Yes, so it was scheduled for the 24th of August, and it has been moved to the 26th of September. It is still happening at Stain City, starting at about 10 and finishing at 5. There's a few elements that we kind of wanted to bring to life, and we just felt that we just want to give it a little bit more time so that we actually just give our patrons the best experience that they can get. It's going to be a very beautiful event. It's going to be filled with music. It's going to be filled with networking, because that's the other thing, that women networking is not our easiest. Now that I've met you here, I might have had the desire to meet you for forever, and I see you at the airport, but I still want to approach you because you're always just thinking, what if he's just like, who are you? But that's
I'm not like that, by the way.
thank God you're not. But that's also the other thing, just making sure that we allow the networking, we allow the learning, but we also just allow the downtime for the ladies. So it's happening in September now, which will be warmer, which is great.
Excellent. Sounds incredible, and wish you all the luck for this business festival. Thank you very much indeed, Jabulile. That was In Good Company's founder and CEO, Jabulile Gwala. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Get you more news next.